back on the David Pakman Show. I am Farron Cousins from Ring of Fire and Fair and Balanced, sitting in for David today. Let's get to some bad news, right? I mean, we've talked a lot about things that are ridiculous. Now it's time to come back to reality for just a moment. For the last few weeks, basically ever since Kamala Harris came into the presidential race, Democrats have been enjoying a steady string of almost 2 months of just really great news, right? We've had amazing polls. We've had record-breaking fundraising numbers. We had Kamala Harris decimate Donald Trump in that debate last week. I mean, the wind is at our backs. It's been sunshine and rainbows and happiness and energy, enthusiasm, and now one of the worst polls I think I've seen in a long time. And I take no joy in reporting this other than this is a good motivator. So it is my job, unfortunately, to bring you the news, good news and bad, and this is a pretty bad one. A new poll from Gallup this week shows that Kamala Harris is 25 points underwater with her favorability ratings with independent voters. And yes, her favorable versus unfavorable with independent voters is worse than Donald Trump's. Let me read you these numbers. 44% of independents view Trump favorably and 53% view him unfavorably. So, okay, he's -9. 35 independents view the vice president favorably, while 60% view her unfavorably, meaning that she is 25 points underwater with the key demographic. Now, that's bad. I don't want to sound like Donald Trump and be like, nope, fake poll. It's a real poll. It's a real poll that only polled 1,000 people. Okay, so you know. There is that. We're a country of 333 million people. You spoke to 1,000 of them, and you've come to these conclusions. Mathematically, I understand it. As a political science degree holder, I also took classes in polling. And granted, you're Gallup, you're national polling, far be it for me to tell you how to do your job, but you know that such a small sample size is not representative of the country. So, I don't know how I feel about this, but I do think we need to take the poll at face value, okay?
Sorry, guys. I don't know why this keeps glitching. My whole system is glitching. I'm going to have to restart my computer, but I wanted to bring you this because this is from David Pakman. Even though he says that he's independent, he mostly, is on the complete Democrat train, and so is Farron from Ring of Fire. So for them to, but one thing I will give David Pakman and this guy credit for is that they will bring bad news when it comes, very sporadically, but usually the audience, destroys them when they do, denies it, and, just says, Trump is deranged, there's no way, he's crazy, who could vote for him, all these other things. Guys, I am independent. And so I have, even people I know who are Democrats, I have tried to, I tried to tell people that Biden was going to lose the election before. They were in denial. They didn't want to hear it. And then I told them, he's in cognitive decline. They didn't want to believe it. I said, he's going to get pushed out. All these things I kept telling them, it came to pass. Then I even said, well, Kamala Harris, so you have to wait till the honeymoon is over, and then you're going to see the real numbers. And they didn't believe it, especially with the honeymoon period that she had. And this is a couple days old. That's why he said the debate was last week. But it's, they tried to, I said once the honeymoon period is over that the real numbers come out, and they're just like, no, it's all going to stay great. But now things are settling in. The calm has come, and it's no longer just like kind of like, this excitement and joy that Biden is finally out, who was depressing the numbers. Well, now they, that they have her there, they were hoping that the momentum will keep tracking up. And while she is performing better than Biden, kind of overall, she's actually doing worse than him in some other key demographics. And I've actually just did a poll about union workers that is devastating for the Democrat Party, also in the battleground states. He is Trump. Trump is now, it's very small in the margin of error, but he is now winning the battleground states by zero point 0.1. And key states that she needs to win the electoral college, she is now losing, or Trump has is closing the gap. So they are in a panic, in a free fall, and it's very rarely that you'll have any Democratic pundits or the mainstream media say the quiet part out loud, because they don't, it's a lot of gaslighting to believe that, that the numbers and the things that are out, the truth is not, really real. I don't get it, but I mean, I guess I do get it, because they've got to, keep the audience engaged and keep enthusiasm up. And so they rarely want to put out any bad news. But it's hard to ignore when you start to actually look at the data and see what's going on. And especially if you go on social media at large. I mean, I've seen Kamala Harris is getting cooked on TikTok, getting cooked on Instagram. And we already know, there's people who are going to just say, well, that's not true. And because a lot of times people stay in their own silo, they want to, they only pick and choose what they're going to listen to. But again, as an independent, I try to listen to both sides. I'll listen to a Democratic leaning podcast, a right wing podcast. I'll listen to news from different sources, because again, I am truly an independent. But let's continue.
I'm not going to sit here and say, nope, it's totally an outlier, disregard it, everything's great. I don't want to do that. In fact, if anything, I almost wish these numbers were a little worse right now. And let me tell you, as I started saying, we've had 2 months of great news. But every now and then we need a reality check. Every now and then you got to get that kick in the teeth. You got to be pushed down to get back up, and that's where we are right now. And that's how this entire race should be running. And to their credit, the Harris campaign has made it clear.
I don't know why my audio is lagging behind, but yeah, we don't have to continue the video. I just wanted to bring you that information. He goes into just kind of like trying to pump things up, and they're doing everything right. There's another video that David Pakman himself has done that talks about, some really bad news as far as Kamala Harris's campaign, and that the Democrats right now, the polls are turning and they're quietly trying to sound the alarm. And I don't know if it's going to be enough, because the trend is now showing that Trump has gained the momentum across, especially all the swing states. And actually in the popular vote, he's closing in on the margins on Kamala Harris as well. And they are terrified and really panicked on what to do next. But I just think with who Kamala Harris is, she is just not a good candidate. So guys, I make sure you check out below my other channel, Melanie Off Script. I have been covering Candace Owens' investigation into Kamala Harris's family background, and it is mind-blowing. It is explosive. I have a playlist below of different things, and then also the link to Melanie Off Script. And I've done this expose. I've covered it on this channel and the other channel. But I will tell you, it is going to shock you when you see the evidence that has been pulled up. And now the Washington Post is jumping on it, I think, to try to debunk it. But it's going to be difficult, because there's the records. The records are the records. And as well as Candace Owens is supposed to have someone from her family come on and speak and or, to talk about what the truth is. We'll see how that goes. But I will tell you right now, the man that is claiming to be Kamala Harris's father, Donald J. Harris, according to birth and death records, that man died when he was 2. More has been exposed with her family are Freemasons and Marxists. Not only that, Kamala Harris has in her book a picture with a Black woman that she says is her grandmother. So she was in her 20s, Kamala was, when she took this picture standing next to a Black woman in Jamaica and said, this is her grandmother, Beryl. Well, according to the records, Beryl died 4 years before Kamala Harris was even born. So who is this Black woman that she claims is her grandmother she's standing next to? Well, comes to find out, Beryl is not even in her family line. They actually, it is just, again, I can't give you all the details, but one of the things we have uncovered, we've seen, is that it looks like she used the family help, and took pictures with them in order to look like she had black in her family line. It is not about race, but it is or the color of her skin. No one cares, but they made an issue. She said that she's a black woman, that she's a black girl. All these things that she's been saying, or that has been pushed, the identity politics, well, that's falling apart. And I don't know why they created these lies. I don't know where it came from. I don't know, but it goes deep. Records have been changed. Her birth certificate was amended. Her original birth certificate says that her mother, or the race is, the amended birth certificate, which I think they messed up on, says that the mother is Caucasian, but yeah, her mother's supposed to be Indian. Again, guys, you have to go down the rabbit trail and see for yourself. As an independent, just like I'm investigating the Diddy thing, this is another scandal that is going to break wide open, and I do believe it's going to be the October surprise. And Democrats at the moment are in a panic, are in a free fall. People are trying to contact Candace Owens, and they're trying to dig through it, and no one has been able to debunk what she's been putting out, and it is growing in popularity. So make sure you check that out below, Melanie Off Script. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye.